Hey everyone, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Armor heavy duty front bumper fitting 2019 to 2021 Silverado 1500s. If you're after aggressive good looks and some serious protection for a great price, this is going to be your bumper. It offers plenty of coverage and the ability to fit other accessories down the line, and it's not going to obliterate your budget either. Now, I don't think anybody would argue that this generation of Silverado looks pretty aggressive to begin with, but if you just want more, then you're going to appreciate this bumper. The angular styling here lends an even more aggressive appearance to the front end, and I actually think it works pretty well with the Silverado styling. This is a full-width front bumper, so you're going to get plenty of coverage for the front end of your truck, including the overrider hoop up top to keep any debris and errant obstacles from contacting your grille. It also cuts up a lot closer to the body of the truck too, which you can see in these shots here, and as compared to your standard bumper, this is going to give you more clearance for off-roading. So you're going to end up with a slightly better approach angle, and you're not going to have to worry as much about rubbing issues, especially if you're planning to or you've already fitted larger wheels and tires, because there's just simply less for them to possibly contact over here. Now, this kit also includes a very hefty skid plate right down here, so no matter where you find yourself, there's another layer of protection for your truck. Now, in the center, you're also going to find a handful of mesh grills. Now, these can all be removed in favor of some additional lighting elements. Now, the outermost ones, this one and the one on the other side, are designed for cube lights, while the three inner pieces, these right here, can house some combination of cube lights, light bars, or both. So you've got a lot of flexibility if you want to add additional lighting. Plus, there's even more spaces up here on the top of the overrider hoop if you want to add another light bar or some big old fog lights. Again, lots of options here. Plus, for those of you who live in a state where you are required to run a front license plate, there's an included license plate bracket. Now, this bumper does live up to its name with some very solid construction. The bumper itself is made from a 3mm thick piece of cold formed steel plate, so this hasn't been heated up and subsequently weakened. The steel is then treated with an E-coat to remove some impurities from the metal, and then it's finished off with this textured black powder coat for additional protection and good looks. Same is true for the skid plate. This is the same type of plate steel, and your overrider hoop is made of the same kind of stuff as well, just a little bit thinner up here. Now, this is also designed to be a bolt-on installation, so it's not going to require you to make any permanent modifications to your truck, and you get all the hardware you need to get it installed included in the box. But we'll talk more about that momentarily. Pricing comes in at about $1,800, which does put it on the more affordable side of the spectrum. Now, that's not to say that $1,800 is a drop in the bucket, but as far as full width, full coverage front bumpers that include skid plates go, this is a pretty reasonable price tag. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you somewhere in around 3 hours to complete. Maybe a little bit less if you're familiar with pulling your bumper off. Now, like I mentioned, everything you need is included. You don't have to make any permanent modifications to the truck itself. Just bolt this one on in your stock bumper's place. However, this is still pretty hefty, and having another set of hands to help you out is highly recommended. It's just going to make your life a little bit easier. So get a friend, and you should be able to tackle this at home pretty easily. We're also going to walk you through the entire installation process right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, a ratchet, a clip remover tool, plastic pry tool, 10 and 18mm wrenches, 15mm ratcheting wrench, an extension, 10, 13, 15, and 18mm sockets, a swivel adapter, 4 and 5mm Allen sockets, and a T15 Torx socket. What's up, guys? Today we're installing a front bumper on our Silverado. First, we're gonna watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your factory bumper, and I'll meet you back here for the install.
First step for the uninstall, we have to pop our hood. We're gonna get off our top radiator shroud. Now grab a panel removal tool. We're gonna pop off these push pin clips. There's a couple straight across the front, and then we'll wrap it right back at the top end there. All you have to do is pry up on the middle section, go up underneath, and pull it out in one piece. Repeat that for all of them here. Okay, now we're going in the back. All right, from there you can lift this guy off. At the top of the grill there are 4 10mm bolts holding it on. Grab your 10 socket, I'm gonna use an impact gun, get these off. Next up, we can start popping our grill off. You want to grab a panel removal tool. I'm going to use a plastic one instead of the metal one I was using before, just so I don't scratch any of our paint or our headlight glass. I'm going to go into this corner here. You'll start to hear a pop here as well. Just like that. Repeat that on the other side. We'll pop up the top, just like that. All right, so you want to lift up on the tabs at the top end, make sure that's disconnected. All right, pop your grill off and set it aside. Next up, we're in the wheel well here. You want to grab a T15 Torx bit. We're going to remove 5 of these screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 is deeper in, and 5's up a little higher. All right, repeat that for the other side once you get all 5 of these guys out. Next up, we have the vehicle up in the air just to make it a little easier to see. We're basically taking off this bumper bracket. Now, I folded back the wheel well liner that we just unbolted to make it easier to see, because that's also how you can get to it from the outside of the vehicle if you're not crawling underneath. Grab a 15 socket. We're gonna get those 2 bolts off of this bumper bracket and 1 on the side. All right, and then this one down here. All right, repeat that on the other side. All right, so next up, while we have this up in the air, we're gonna get this 1 10mm bolt off. It's just to the inside of the bracket we just took off there and a little bit lower. Grab a 10 socket and get it off, and then repeat that on the other side. All right, so next up, we're in front of the vehicle. Where the grille used to be, there's this big rubber panel. If you go to these 2 bolts on each side, so right now you're looking at the passenger side, and you flip this guy open, or down at least, you can expose an 18mm bolt staring straight up at you. Grab a longer extension, an 18 deep socket, and an impact gun, go straight down onto the bolt, and remove it on both sides. Now, you may need to stick your hand down there just to grab the bolt once it's loose. Repeat that on the other side. All right, once you repeat that on the other side, we're basically doing the same thing, flipping up this rubber flap to expose that 18mm bolt. Once you get that off on both sides, the bumper will be free, so make sure you have a hand on it to support it or a helping hand with a friend. Okay, again, repeat on the other side, hold onto your bumper, and we can pull it off. All right, what I like to do is just put my hand right in that spot where that last bolt came out, pull the bumper straight back and off. With the bumper out of the way, let's take the frame plates off at the end of the frame there, grab a 15mm socket and get these 3 guys out.
So now that we have our factory bumper removed, we have a couple more things we have to pop off for this specific bumper. The first thing we're going to remove is our tow hooks. So I've got an 18mm socket and wrench to pop those off. So now I'm going to start with our single bolt here in the back and take an 18mm socket to remove that. And then we can grab our 18mm socket for the bolt and the nut. We'll grab an 18mm wrench for the nut and pop that off. And then we can pull our bolt out, remove our tow hook, and do the same thing on the other side. Now the other thing we need to remove is this splash guard. We have 4 13mm bolts, 2 on each side, and they're in the same spot on both sides. So we'll take 13mm socket and pop those bolts out. So our first step is to assemble our bumper. I've got our grills that are going to be going in the middle section here. We're going to be using our button head combo bolts with a flange nut on the other side to tighten these down. So we're going to start with our larger center grill. That's going right down in the middle. And then in that same slot, we also have the two rectangular smaller grills that are going to go to the outside of that. So we'll just lay those in for now, focus on the center. We'll take our combo bolt and our flange nut, slide that bolt through, and then put the nut on the other side. And then do the same on the bottom. And then we can take a 4mm Allen socket on the bolt head and a 10mm wrench on the nut and tighten all of these down. And now you can do the same thing for your outer grill. And then take that same 4mm Allen socket and 10mm wrench to tighten this down. And you can do that same thing on the other side. Now we can install our outer grills. Now this is going to be the square one. If you have an LED pod that has a mounting bracket here for it, we don't have those with this bumper, so we're just going to be installing the grill. We're using the same hardware for the other grills. And the same 4mm Allen socket and 10mm wrench. And then do that same thing on the other side. Next we can install our top bar. Now this is an optional step. It comes from the factory with these plugs on the holes for it, but since we have it, we're gonna install it. So the first thing we're going to do is pop out these plugs, and then we'll raise this up. We have button head bolts with flat washers going through the top, and then a flat washer, lock washer, and nut going on the back side. So now we'll pop out these two plugs by just coming from behind and pushing up on it. And then we'll grab that button head bolt with a flat washer, raise our bar up, slide that in the hole, and then I'll get another flat washer, a lock washer, and a nut on the back side. And then same thing for the other hole. Now to tighten these two bolts down, we're going to take the included Allen wrench to hold the bolt head, and then we can take a 13mm socket on the nut. And then repeat that same process on the other side. Next we can install our license plate bracket. Now this is another thing that's optional. If you live in a state that doesn't require a front plate, you don't have to run this. For this install, we will be installing it. We have our smaller button head bolt with a flat washer that's going to be going through the circle hole and through the bumper. And then we have another flat washer and a lock nut that's going on the back side. So now you can take the bracket, put that bolt with the flat washer through the circle hole, and then through the hole in the bumper. And then you'll take another flat washer on the back and your lock nut. And then do the same thing for the other side. And then you can just line that up and grab a 4mm Allen socket on the bolt side and a 10mm wrench on the nut side and tighten this down. And then with that in place, we can install our clips. These are gonna be the screw holes for your screws or bolts. And these will just line up and press right in. Next, we can reinstall our grill. So we're gonna line up all of our clips and press it into place. Now we can reinstall our 4 upper grill bolts. And then we'll grab our 10mm socket and tighten all of these down. Next, we can reinstall our upper cover. So I'm going to pull up on the hood latch, slide this in, and lay it down, and then we can reinstall all of our push clips. Next, we can reinstall all of those screws in our fender liner and tighten them down with the T15 Torx socket. Now we'll take that T15 Torx socket and tighten everything down. And for that last one, we're gonna have to turn the tire back straight to get to that. And now with our wheels straight, we have access to our last screw. And then you can repeat that same process on the other side. So now we're ready to lift our new bumper up into place. I'm gonna grab myself a buddy to tackle the other side while I do this side. We're gonna be reinstalling the factory 3 bolts that we removed from our frame horns. We'll slide those in, get them hand tight, and then we can go back and tighten them down. So now I've got my buddy here to help me lift this up. We're gonna be putting our factory bolts from the front into the threaded holes in our frame horn. Now we can take a 15mm ratcheting wrench to tighten down all of our bolts. And then do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can install our skid plate. We have our button head bolt with a lock washer and a flat washer. That's gonna be going through the 4 holes in our bumper and into the 4 welded nuts in front of our skid plate. And then moving towards the back, we're gonna use 2 of the 4 bolts that we removed from our factory splash guard to install the back. So now we'll raise our skid plate up. We're gonna be putting this underneath of our bumper. And then we'll get this lined up so we can thread one of our bolts in. And now we can come to the back and reinstall our factory bolt. And do that same thing on the other side. And then we'll take a 13mm socket and tighten both of these down. Now we can go back to our 4 Allen head bolts at the front and take a 5mm Allen socket to tighten all of these down. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Armor Heavy Duty Front Bumper for your 2019 to 21 Silverado 1500. Thank you for watching, and for all things Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.